Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the May 20th meeting of the Yakima School Board. I appreciate your participation as well as topics that you have brought to our attention today. I'd like to address a few significant points first. We have worked diligently to refine and realign our work and enhance systems to better serve students. Thanks to our effective recall process, every RIFT certified member has now been offered a position for next year. This fall, we will maintain the third highest staff-to-student ratio in Yakima School District history. Regarding our high school music program, I am proud to announce that through the concerted efforts of our leadership, community members, parents, and teachers, we will continue offering existing classes, including IB music and percussion at Davis High School. We now have more music teachers at Davis and Eisenhower than at any time in the history of our district. 4.2 positions at Davis and 4 positions at Eisenhower. Declining enrollment has resulted in fewer migrant students coming to our district. This understandably also means that fewer migrant services are now needed. The same cannot be said for the Yakima School District Special Education Services Department, as services for students with special needs continues to grow. Therefore, we will have more special education classroom support than last year. Furthermore, Yakima School District continues to maintain exceptionally low administrative overhead. According to the most recently compiled fiscal data through the Office of Superintendent of Public Instruction, our percentage of administrative overhead is in the lowest 13% of all districts in the state. Thank you for your ongoing support and engagement as we strive to balance efficiency without sacrificing excellence. We do offer Spanish interpretation services from Jorge with Language Connection. If you need translation assistance in person, please check with Jorge for a device. Jorge, please translate that information for us.
Si alguien necesita de la ayuda de un intérprete, tenemos los radios disponibles aquí a la entrada. Gracias.
Gracias. We provide live streaming for this meeting. The link can be found on our webpage under Board of Directors or by going directly to www.ysd7.org/board-meetings. If you wish to make a public comment today, there are 2 options available for you. The first option is for commenting on agenda items only, and the second option, which comes toward the end of the meeting, is for all other topics. In order to speak tonight, you will need to sign 2 forms, a sign-in form and a guidelines form, and those are available at the table over here. If you are interested in watching past meetings, you may find them on our webpage's YSD YouTube channel. Now, will you all join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? Ready, begin. Next, we have land acknowledgement.
Today, the schools of the Yakima School District rest on the ancestral lands of the 14 confederated tribes and bands of the Yakima Nation.
Hoy las escuelas del Distrito Escolar de Yakima descansan en las tierras ancestrales de las 14 tribus y bandas confederadas de la nación Yakima.
The people of the Yakima Nation inhabited more than 12 million acres.
La gente de la nación Yakima habitó más de 10 billones de acres.
Across Adams, Benton, Chelan, Douglas, Franklin, Grant, Kittitas, Klickitat, and Yakima counties.
En los condados de Adams, Benton, Chelan, Douglas, Grant, Franklin, Kittitas, Klickitat, y Yakima.
Today we honor those native peoples who are tied to the land through history, legends, and culture.
Hoy honramos a estos pueblos originales que están vinculados en la tierra a través de historias, leyendas y culturas.
We acknowledge our descendants who live in the world today.
Reconocemos a sus descendientes que viven en el mundo de hoy.
We thank the caretakers of this land who have lived here and continue to live here since time immemorial.
Agradezcamos a los guardianes de la tierra, quienes han vivido aquí y continúan viviendo aquí, desde tiempos inmemoriales.
An acknowledgement is a simple, powerful way to show respect.
Un reconocimiento es una manera simple y poderosa de mostrar respeto.
And a step toward correcting the stories and practices that erase Indigenous peoples' history and culture.
Y un paso hacia la corrección de las historias y prácticas que borran la historia y la cultura de los pueblos indígenas.
It also honors the truth.
También honra la verdad.
As a school district, we will continue to build upon our relations with the Yakima Nation.
Como distrito escolar, continuaremos fortaleciendo nuestras relaciones con la nación Yakima.
Thank you to our students. And today they seem to be using their indoor voices. Okay, next up we have 4 proclamations today. Director Rice will be reading a proclamation for Better Hearing and Speech Month.
May is Better Hearing and Speech Month. In 1927, the Federation of Organizations for the Hard of Hearing created National Hearing Week to raise awareness and promote understanding of hearing, health, and communication disorders. In 1958, the event expanded to a month-long celebration known as Better Hearing Month. Today, the American Speech Language Hearing Association, or ASHA, celebrates the month of May as Better Hearing and Speech Month. Yakima School District's audiologists, speech and language pathologists, and teachers of deaf, hard of hearing serve over 1,300 students from preschool through age 21. In honor of Better Hearing and Speech Month, the Yakima School District Board of Directors would like to acknowledge the substantial role that audiologists, speech and language pathologists, and teachers have played locally, regionally, and nationally in raising awareness and promoting understanding of hearing health and communication disorders. Dated this 7th day of May, 2024. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Rice. Director Beckett will enlighten us about Mental Health Week.
Whereas each year, millions of Americans face the reality of living with a mental health condition, and 1 in 6 U.S. youth aged 6 to 17 experience a mental health disorder each year, but mental health illness affects everyone directly or indirectly through family, friends, or acquaintances. And whereas this week serves as an opportunity for a dedicated time for mental health advocacy, raise mental health illness awareness, provide resources, and promote initiatives that support mental wellness among students, faculty, and staff. And whereas this week is dedicated to asking more questions, being present, and educating ourselves and others on the importance of mental health, we must continue the conversation and extend our empathy with those in need. And whereas by shedding a light on mental health, we break negative stigma and promote open dialogue and help create a culture of understanding and acceptance within our school communities. And whereas inclusive learning environments for students and hire and train more mental health professionals for schools, which is where students are most likely to receive these crucial services. Now therefore be it resolved as the Yakima School Board of Directors, we proclaim that the Yakima School District recognizes May 6th through 10th, 2024 as Mental Health Week and commits to prioritizing the mental health and well-being of our students and creating a safe and supportive environment where all individuals can thrive academically, emotionally, and socially. Dated the 7th of May, 2024.
Thank you, Director Beckett. May also happens to be Arts Education Month. Whereas Arts Education Month continues to celebrate and amplify the innovative work of arts educators in service to students and families in communities across the state. And whereas students, families, and community members benefit most when arts learning opportunities are designed to be accessible to all and make connections to the lived experiences of students across the state. And whereas arts learning is an essential element and core content of a complete and balanced education for all students, including dance, music, theater, visual arts, and media arts. And whereas arts education teaches creative problem solving and cultural knowledge and offers multiple pathways to understanding for different types of learners. And whereas arts education increases connections and engagement between teachers, students, and the connected community that surrounds them. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Yakima School District Board of Directors designates the month of May 2024 as Arts Education Month. And be it further resolved that the Yakima School District Board of Directors calls on our community to celebrate and promote the arts in our schools and to take action to provide equitable access to arts learning for all students in our learning community. And last but certainly not least, Director Villanueva will read Teacher Appreciation Week.
Whereas teachers serve in partnership with parents to ensure the appropriate education for all children, and whereas teachers strive to instruct students to read with comprehension, write with skill, and communicate effectively and responsibly in a variety of ways and settings, and whereas teachers teach our community's children to know and apply mathematical and science concepts, and whereas teachers inspire students to think strategically and to integrate experience and knowledge to form reasoned judgments, and whereas teachers help students understand the importance of work and their contribution to society, and whereas we recognize and support our teachers in their mission to educate the children of our community. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Yakima School District Board of Directors designates the week of May 6 to 10, 2024 as Teacher Appreciation Week, and be it further resolved, the Yakima School District Board of Directors calls on the community to join with it in personally thanking and recognizing teachers for their dedication and devotion to their work, dated the 7th day of May, 2024.
Thank you, Director Villanueva, and also thank you to all of our teachers. Next up, we have John Kavanaugh, YEA President, has some remarks for the board today. Mr. Kavanaugh.
Hello, board. Thanks for having me. We are going to hold our remarks to the next meeting out of respect for the meeting following this. Adam's getting to celebrate their school. It's happening, your meeting at 6 o'clock. Those seniors graduating. So we'll have our comment at the next.
Thank you for your consideration. We look forward to your comments next meeting. Next up, we'd like to welcome Doug Koplicki, principal of Adams Elementary. Did you want to provide an introduction, Dr. Green?
Walk up. It's not going to be a long introduction, Doug. Go ahead and start your walk, start your sonder. Very grateful for the work, and not only, and I think Doug would be the first one to tell you this once he does get up here, but he stands arm in arm with his staff, so his leadership is one of service, but also of inclusion, and to see what he was able to do or has been able to do in working with staff to create a culture of inclusivity and of high achievement as far as the way that students are valued and the way that staff feels valued is something of which we could all learn, and we're grateful for the opportunity here as we close out the year to come here to Adams, one of our top largest schools here as far as elementaries in our city, and to hear all of the great things that has happened with his leadership, with the support of those around him, and of course, because of those closest to our students, our classroom teachers, our paraeducators, and those who provide additional supports in numerous capacities. So it's a great pleasure that I do turn this over to Doug.
Thank you, President Walker and members of the board, Superintendent Green, and the cabinet team. Again, thank you for visiting Adams and being a part of it. We are excited to have you here. And then, of course, as you entered today, you guys had a chance to feel what it feels like to enter at 8 a.m. We had the music playing, and you're probably like, what is happening? And so, Martha, I want to share with you and a couple of others that you guys motivated us when you said, we want more pictures. We want more pictures. And then I submitted it, and I thank you, Hector. I appreciate you keeping me in check. He said, too many pictures, Doug. We need to have some words. So, but I want to share that that's part of the culture and climate is how the kids walk in every day. Karen DeLeon is our DJ, and she was out there with the music. And we want the kids to have that energy and the parents' energy. And it was something that we learned from our parent voice circles and student circles. We're going to talk about that today. Thank you for recognizing the month of May. We have an incredible staff that a lot of Adams staff are here today. And again, we enjoyed celebrating you guys and celebrating Miss McGee. I know you missed the last board meeting, but 40 years as an SLP almost. And so I just want to say thank you. So as we move into, we're going to kind of talk about Adams through pictures. And one of the themes is we did kind of plan on having a lot more people here. And I appreciate, John, thank you so much for the things and just celebrating Adams. You'll see portraits all throughout the gym here. These are portraits that kids have done. Vicki Davis, our media specialist and librarian, has helped us with that. We're going to just kind of talk about Adams through pictures and a little bit of data, and we're going to talk through that. I want to share one of the things here is kind of one of our missions is maximizing the potential and inspiring the excellence in our community. We are all about cultivating those relationships. How do we cultivate those relationships? Well, sometimes it's through student voice. Sometimes it's through the aspect of school culture. Sometimes it's something that we started this last year in talking about parent voice circles. We've heard about student voice circles, but the power of how parents have a voice and how do we embrace that? One of those voices, we have our second grade team here that they took 100 students, 100 parents, and about 30 to 40 staff members to Point Defiance Zoo on Saturday. And when they did that, it was because of the partnership that they had with the Parent Booster Club. It was that partnership that they were trying to figure out how can we embrace student voice, parent voice, and that was an opportunity. It was unbelievable. I do a newsletter. I do a lot of the Instagram, but thank you for the 700 photos that you guys sent on Sunday. It was lovely. But it was great. It was an incredible opportunity, and those are those pictures. But let's talk about the pictures just up here. So one of the things here on the left is our Student of the Month. One of the things that we do, like a lot of schools, is we do Student of the Month, and we try to make it almost in a celebrity style. We have a kind of a backdrop, kind of like a Hollywood backdrop, and it's critical that each student, we look at the character word, of course, the Student of the Month, but we also have the opportunity to invite those parents and make sure, and it's not just parents, it's guardians, it might be aunts and uncles, whoever it may be in their life, the adults in their life, and then we try to capture those moments. And how do we capture those moments is listening to the kids and saying, we're learning about those kids, those families. And so that's kind of what those pictures are. They're having a couple cupcakes, but it's unbelievable. And I highly encourage you guys, if you get an opportunity, to check out our Instagram or Facebook, because we try to post a lot of photos just of kids. The one in the middle, one of the things, Superintendent Green came to us on the 100th day, and it was a pretty fun day this last year. Dr. Green came and started taking photos with the kids with canes, and they were acting like they were the 100-year-olds, and it was one of those opportunities though that was really kind of neat to see people like Dr. Green and Mr. Mendez and Ms. Newell and some of our directors coming into our building and having an opportunity just to enjoy kids and having that chance. And so some of those photos are from that. We're excited coming up in June 13th and 14th is our kinder promotion and 5th grade promotion. These photos right here. One of the things that pretty much melted a lot of our hearts is we had several parents last year that also graduated both from maybe even high school, Perry Tech, YVC, and it was one of those moments where we had a chance to capture kids in their gowns, and then we actually asked those parents to do that. And it was neat because it happened to be the same day we did it's unbelievable what the high schools are doing. Stanton and Davis come and do their walkthrough with us. So they walk through and they get the opportunity to take a photo, and we try to time that on that. And that day it was an unbelievable day for us. The other piece to this with photos is trying to get the opportunity to find out what's going on in children's lives. And so when we talk about cultivating relationships, we talk about student voice. And I know members of the board, you guys have had several opportunities to listen about this, but we're trying to do it in a way where we really have a chance. We have several fifth grade teachers that are really right now trying to find out what their anxieties are as we move to middle school. What's the anxiety of parents? And so it's something that we're really trying to embrace is that student voice. Okay, I apologize to Dr. Green. I know you like 1 or 2 bullets up here. I apologize. But we only have a few slides here, but I want to just kind of talk about the demographics. Adams Elementary is one of the, if not the largest elementary school in the Yakima Valley. And we look at our student population currently is right around that 634 was a couple days ago. And we have a population of our ELL students, which is about 70+% of that population. We have about 468. I think the number is like 74%. And it's one of those things where we have a ton. I want to pause there just for a second and talk about data. Our WIDA scores in 2022, our WIDA scores, we were at 4 kids exited out of the program. And we were like, what do we need to do differently? Well, we hired a couple of incredible people. Our 2 ELD teachers, Brandis Alejo and Jen Lyle, partnering with our teachers, then exited 16 kids. We just got the data on Friday, and now we have over 30 of our kids have exited the program, and now moving to 27 kids are on the brink. This is the highest score, and Hector and his team actually came and presented some incredible data to our staff. This was the highest data of any other school in the Yakima district. On top of that, we have 14 dual language classes that are thriving, which is it's an incredible opportunity that we've had K2. We're the first cohort, and so we're moving to the 3rd grade next year. We also, with other principals, and I want to share the district office's commitment to attendance. We're riding it really close to between 91 and 92% for our daily attendance. This is not just a Adams thing. This is a global thing. We are having opportunities to work with student services. We have opportunities to work with our SES teams. We're working with a lot of different parties. And for us, this is not a number that is an Adams number. It says Adams on the sheet, but it takes a whole village. And so we're really blessed to have a lot of incredible people that have allowed us to get to that 90% and higher for daily attendance. A lot of people ask about Handle with Care. It's not something that we look at in data, and I wanted to bring it to light today. Handle with Care is Sarah Cordova and her team will talk about different things that are happening potentially in the home over the weekend. And so we get these reports, and these reports will share a lot of trauma that has happened over that weekend. Handle with Care might be potential dealings with the law enforcement or something that has happened. Adams, with the 28 schools, we're ranked 6th. So we're ranked right with the high schools and middle schools of how many Handle with Care reports come in. With those Handle with Cares, it gives us an opportunity to work with our cell team, gives us an opportunity to work with our counseling team, and then potentially work with other schools who have siblings across the board we're trying to look at that. In this area, one of the things that we're very, very proud of is our very low discipline numbers, and it's a tribute to our PBIS team. We have an incredible team of staff, and I've got to share. I've kind of talked about staff, but there's a lot of leadership within Mr. Contreras, who's our assistant principal, an incredibly talented guy. I will share one story on Nurses Day, and we have the most amazing nurse. He did say to me, Doug, you've visited the nurse's office twice. You hurt yourself and cut your finger, and then I had another injury. And he's like, I don't think that was the concept of the nurse celebrating the nurses. So Jose does deal with a lot of things, but he's incredibly talented, and he is a huge force with home visits. He's an incredible talent with dealing with a lot of those things. This here talks about the culture and kind of the climate. We have partnered for several years with the Center of Educational Effectiveness, and this basically highlights some aspects. In 2019, the red, orange, brown above in the middle there was concerning. This is not the color you want. And this was basically, I'm doing my job, but I don't know about them. Parents were not trusting us. Parents were feeling we were in the lower 40% in the state. And now we have moved into this blue section, and this blue section here was in fall of 2023. You want it to be light to dark blue. And that's basically moving that and I'm just going to read a couple of these. Some of the critical pieces were parents asking, I feel safe when I send my student. Do I feel safe about that? Did students feel safe at school? Does the staff feel supported? So one of the big stats that we looked at as we were cultivating this was the drastic change in how we needed to do business and open up conversations with staff along with parents. Our parent population, we were literally below 50% and moved to 97 percentile with our parent population, with trusting staff, trusting teachers, trusting administration. One of the big areas is the student population of graduation. We had a lot of people that just didn't believe that they could do that. And we started having conversations around that. And then we started changing. And teachers were 100% answered, I'm willing to change, parents were willing to change, and students were willing to change. So that was a big piece to this. Students, day after day after day, our student population continued to say, what do we need to do differently? And so we started the voice circles as a district and at Adams. What we did is a parent circle and started learning more and more about parents, and that was huge. So not only did we have one with our booster club, but we had another group that just kind of developed and just wanted to talk about the culture and climate, including safety. You see a fence line out here. Mr. Contreras was a lead on that and trying to, put that as a priority because that's what our parent population said. And we started looking at some of those things. So our culture and climate right now, Adams was named in 2022 as an outlier school by the Center of Educational Effectiveness, and they basically named us this just primarily because of the movement and the data growth in that area of culture and climate. Okay, back to the pictures. So one of the things that we want to talk about is what does this actually look like, and how do we develop our families? We have one of these pictures here is Thai Tuesday with Mr. Freimeyer. That's one of our things that we just enjoy seeing. We have different people. If you look around, we talk about the profile pictures. You'll notice Marjan Beauchamp, former Adams kid who plays for the Milwaukee Bucks. He came here 2 months ago, and it just literally developed. Here's a picture of Marjan here. And he had a story that none of us even understood or knew. And our kids resonated with that. So we try to bring in a lot of guests. Marjan really hit it. I mean, he hit it out of the park, and he just told kids, I was an Adams kid. I grew up here. I grew up on this road. And when he started talking about that, we started thinking, how do we trust ourselves? What's my belief? How do I do these things? We had more parents that just checked in with us and said, thank you. Thank you for developing these partnerships. One of the things that we have, Miss Valencia's up here. There are several teachers, but that's one of her voice circles. I know that's not a circle, but it's a picture of her voice circle team and how much she develops through these conversations, but not only developing it, but understanding what they need to do for the next step. We also have teachers that will win at our Student of the Month. What's our bark lines? How are they performing in PE? How are they performing in music? So we're bringing our specialists in. Oftentimes in schools, we forget about the specialists, so we try to embrace them. When I say that, there's a picture that has resonated with me. When Jose and I first got here, we learned that we had a lot of classified staff that didn't always have that belief in themselves. And so we asked them, what do we need to do? How do we get you a degree? How do we move you forward? We have now, after 4 years, 21 classified staff members have now jumped into a college program, 19 of which are in teaching programs. Of that, 11 are going to be going into dual language teaching programs. So it's a process that we're like, let's grow our own. Let's make people believe in it. Jose comes to me and he says, the secretaries are going back to school? I'm like, yeah. And he's like, yeah, but what are we going to do? I said, I don't know. But you know what? We got to believe in every single one of the people and continue to promote. And so it was one of those opportunities for us that we are really trying to promote within our own teams, within our own classified staff and our certified staff. I'm kind of wrapping up here, but the SIP goal, so we have a SIP. We are an OSSI school with school improvement. We have made huge gains. We were in 7 areas, highlighting Erin Thomas, who's a non-pill principal here. She was outstanding with partnering with me through this process. We were in 7 areas identified. We are currently in 2 areas, students with disabilities and another area of English-based student population. I want to say thank you, Erin, and thank a lot of the schools that have helped us through this. We're getting closer. We're getting closer and closer to getting out of school improvement. The school, we are checking in all the time. We have the SIP goals once a month. Each GLT has their goal, and then they submit those goals each month. Okay, this final piece, we have about 50 business partnerships throughout the Yakima area. This is something that we really pride ourselves on. We have everything from Posada events to Project 700 that we partner with Old Navy, and we have probably 15 staff members that are retired. They come back and they go shopping with the kids. We do the giving tree. We do trunk or treat. We do all these types of things, but it's all partnered with businesses in Yakima. We really take pride in that partnership and writing that partnership and understanding what we can do to partner with people. Who's the alumni of Davis and Ike and Stanton, and trying to bring those people in. We partner with a lot of former YEA teachers. They come in and do reading programs with Grace of Christ, our faith-based partner. And several of the people that we've done these things, we continue to just be thankful. And so when we talk about pictures, these are all pictures of some of those incredible events. And we've been blessed to be able to partner with a lot of different schools. All right. So that kind of wraps up on the pictures. I went a little over. My apologies. But again, the opportunity, we have everything from Soccer for Success. One of the things is we've kind of changed the interior part of the building, and we take a lot of pride from that standpoint. But we are very, very blessed to be able to be partnered with incredible people all the way across the board, from other buildings to the district office team. So, thank you.
Thank you. Are there any questions or comments for the board?
Thank you so much for your presentation. It was full of really good news. I can't wait for the day when Adams is out of school improvement. You've made great strides, and I congratulate you, and I congratulate the staff. Good job.
Thank you. The staff's amazing. They truly are.
I agree with what Board Member Rice said, and just also want to highlight a couple of things that stood out to me. First, the growth in the culture and climate survey. That's really impressive. It's difficult for an organization of any size to make shifts of that size. So it's a huge, huge accomplishment to you and the staff that participated in that. Also, really appreciate your focus on growing your own. There's tons of data and reports that show that really is the best way to retain people over a long-term period of a long term. So glad that that's an area of focus and that you're supporting those. Doing that can be challenged to lose your administrative staff or secretarial pool, but the long-term gain that you'll get from that is so good. So kudos for that. And then the growth in the math goal as well, and seeing, I like how you presented that, beginning of year and end of year, and the steps kind of within that. So kudos on all of that growth as well, and just want to congratulate you and the team, and that your presentation, your excitement and enthusiasm is infectious, and even walking in, I thought I was going to walk into a dance with the music playing. It was tons of fun, and so just that, and then leading in here in your presentation, you can just feel the excitement and the positive energy here at the school. So I'm pleased to you on that.
Thank you.
Mr. Kublicki, I was really impressed last year on my visit here to see the parent group involvement that you were supporting and embracing. And just curious if you could give us a short update on what parent involvement.
Yeah, so most recently, thank you, and I appreciated our conversation when we did have that tour. Most recently, they partnered with our second grade team and raised $12,000 for the Point Defiance trip. That was not funded by any outside, sources within the building. It didn't take away from any instructional components, didn't take away anything, didn't come from building budget. We fundraised that, but it was critical that we had the Parent Booster Club. And we have an incredible team, highlighted by the second grade team was critical in that. We also have other teams that are now partnering with the Booster Club. And the biggest thing right now for our parent population and kind of the update is we're getting more and more people. Like we had movie night, and there were like 4 or 5 of us, and now there's probably 20 of us that are doing movie nights. We've gone from maybe 100 people. We had about 250, 260 last time. Jose saying 300. I'm working on my counting. But yeah, we've really had an opportunity to grow that, and people are really enjoying the opportunity. But I truly believe we've got to value parent voices, and we have to value our community voices, and that's where we try to bring people back.
Thank you so much again, Doug, for a really thorough and informative presentation. I'd like to add one thing. When I came in today, Doug reminded me that I was his 7th grade counselor. So I'd like to present to you evidence of some of my work.
I apologize at this point. I'm sorry. Whatever I did. I'm sure I landed in your office for something.
So now I believe you have a tour?
Yeah, yes, that'd be great. I think we're going to stay here in the main building, and we're just kind of going to take you guys on a quick tour.
Well, we're back. We can start. Okay. Welcome back. We'll pick up the agenda now where we left off. First up, we have updates from members of the board. Do we have any updates? Okay, moving on. We have Dr. Green, Superintendent's update.
Thank you, President Walker, members of the board. We have a very short one item to bring to your attention this evening as far as the superintendent's update. I've asked Mr. Marietta to give us an update on the RIF and recall. So if you would go ahead and do that at this point, I would be very grateful.
Okay. Really close to this high. So, as you know, there are a lot of nuances based on all of our bargaining and process that we have to follow. So, what I can tell you is what we have very specifically for today. Currently, in our largest bargaining unit, YEA, there are 16 individuals who are still without an assignment. 6 of them are counselors. 6 of them are conditional certificates, and based on our language in the contract, they are the last ones to be placed. But last Monday, in with HR and I, along with Chantel Heffington, and I really do want to give a huge shout out to Kim and Chantel, who have been working like crazy getting everybody placed. Had offered, at the time it was 9. Today there are still 7 SPED positions that are open to elementary music and to CTE. And so this is kind of odd. What you'll see is that we are actually posting for those positions because everybody who is currently on the RIF had chosen not to accept any of those open positions. So even though we still have people in the pool, we are posting those positions for outside hires.
I'll step in for just a moment. I just want to reiterate that fact because when we're looking at our certified personnel, every person has been offered a position to return. But you have that option not to accept that position. So we can say with certainty that every person, certified member of our district, has now been offered a position. And the delay now is those who are hoping for perhaps a position. Everyone has been offered a position.
And so I thank you for that because we have had 3 positions since last Monday either retire or resign. And as you know, each time one of those positions does open up, it must first go to team building for 3 days. Then after team building, the next one then bumps. It kind of has this domino effect until nobody else in the building wants it, and then it will go back out to the RIF pool, just like before those individuals will be offered those 3 positions. So when they decline, it's for reasons such as this that hoping another position comes open that they feel is better suited to their skill set. So with 3 months left to go, 3 months and about 10 days to go, I think we're still in pretty good shape to hopefully get it added. And remember that the start of the school year ends and the person has not accepted a position. We will offer them some positions based on the language so they get that opportunity for any of the outside schools.
We'll just add here at the end of the remarks that Mr. Marietta made that I was asked by the Herald some time ago, looking back, if there's anything that I would have done differently in this entire process. And my response at that time was that it would take a very narcissistic leader to look back and look at everything through a perfect lens and say that there was nothing that they would change. At the same time, I do believe that there has been a tremendous concerted effort from the get-go in moving forward and providing opportunities for our staff. We were one of the first in the area because we knew it was a moral thing to do, to be in front and announce and let our administrators and the certified and classified staff know with enough leeway to hopefully land a position, give us time to have them brought back if we had those positions available. And I certainly do think that the work that has happened on the side of our HR department, I'm looking over at Chris and then Anthony here to my left, has been phenomenal. And if you're looking at a case study for how to handle a RIF and a recall from the HR perspective, I think that they have a tremendous amount of credibility for the work that they've done and for the opportunities that we continue to provide for people to be called back into these positions. So I'm very proud of our HR department, the work that they've done, and I'm very grateful that we were able to move quickly on this, starting in January with our administrative and in March with our certified and classified, especially as you look around the state now and you see things opening late. And I think of many of the districts that are in a much dire situation because there is not enough time for them to assure that they're going to have the positions available within their own organizations and less likely for any type of movement given what's happening in the state and of course in the nation. So with that, I want to thank Mr. Marietta and his HR department, or our HR department. They serve all of us for their tremendous work and their efforts. And with that, I'll conclude my certificate.
But there's more. It's like we're on Popeil over here.
I will not suspend my update at this point. Mr. Marietta.
We do still have, sorry, man. So that was our certificated largest unit. When it came to our principals, we had RIF 10 assistant principals. But since then, 2 principals have resigned. 1 has chosen a leave of absence. 7 have found positions within the district. And 8, my numbers are off, 8. And because of that, we still have 1 position now that is posted out for an open assistant principal position.
That's not correct. We had 10 positions. We have eight positions that found employment with us still as assistant principals. We have one who found work outside of the district in East Valley, his dream job, is going to be a principal at his elementary, Moxie Elementary. And then we have one other who took a leave of absence, but he is currently working in another district as a principal there for a year. So we have 8 of them actually placed. And we are opening a position for an assistant principal, but that's after all of those other positions were consumed, so to speak. So we are opening a position and to the outside and to the inside.
So, as I said earlier, I didn't want to get into the weeds because there's a lot of moving parts there still. We also have one YEOP who has yet to land in a position. That is our front office support, OSG, which is our supervisory group, and one director. And we do have another one of our directors who was RIF, but she landed a director position in North Thurston County. And then lastly, YPPA is in the middle of their placement through their internal process. And once those individuals whose positions were eliminated, but they go through the internal bumping process, we then have 16 that do not have a place to land within that bargaining unit. All of those were contacted along with the YEOP and the OSG, very specifically through Chris Miller, to let them know that we are also posting positions in our para unit and our custodial unit, and we have more openings in those units than we do have members who are affected. So again, that is a potential for them to all land within our district, but that those jobs have not closed yet. So we have 3 months to go. We're hoping to get to a point where that final number is 0, and that's where we can conclude our report today.
How many total RIF staff have not yet found roles or accepted roles?
I would say today the magic number is 35, but we are still and that's total classified and certificated, but we are still in the middle of that process. So positions are open and they haven't closed yet.
Any other questions or comments? That you're only 14. Okay, thank you so much. Next up, we have quick calendar updates, just highlights, and then I invite the board to just read your board document and see all the detailed calendar events coming up. Be careful, graduation approaches soon, and there are all kinds of things going on.
Yes, President Walker, you are correct. It is graduation season. I have 10 events to share with you all today. May 20th, which is tonight, in approximately 54 minutes, we have honors convocation at Eisenhower. Tomorrow, the CTE Awards at YV Tech. On June 2nd, which is Sunday, we have Black Elegance at 2 p.m. at YV Tech. June 3rd is the Native Education Celebration, 6:30 at YV Tech. June 6th is the Migrant Senior Celebration at 6 p.m. On June 11th, we have the Davis High School graduation ceremony at 7 p.m. in the Sun Dome. June 12th is the Ike High School graduation ceremony, also at 7 p.m. in the Sun Dome. June 13th is the Stanton graduation ceremony, 7 p.m. at Davis. June 14th, we have the Open Doors graduation ceremony at 5 p.m. at Eisenhower. And lastly is the June 14th Yakima Online graduation ceremony at 7 p.m. at Eisenhower.
Thank you. Next up, we have our monthly financial update. Jay Cooper.
Hello, my name is Susan Fade. I'm Director of Fiscal Services. Jay couldn't be here tonight, so I'm going to give this update on his behalf. Barb's going to run the PowerPoint for me, so thanks, Barb. lady. So this is nothing new. You guys see this every month. In April, our student enrollment is still down from our projections, but we're running pretty even month by month with that. And our overall trend is running under projections, but staying pretty stable. Go to the next slide, Barb. Our general fund revenue is running close to our projections, so we expect to be where we thought we'd be at the end of this school year. April was our tax month, so that gave us the increase. The expenditures continue to run in line with what we have budgeted. And then the cash flow is catching up to what our projections are. And this is just our supplies and materials we talked about. And then our ESSER spending is dedicated to Discovery Early Learning, so that'll be fully expended by the end of this school year, which was a requirement. And I think that Discovery Lab just about finished. So, are there any questions? That was pretty fast. I'm new here.
Any questions from the board? Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Excuse me. We have arrived at the first opportunity for comments from the public on agenda items. Do we have any commenters today?
Not at this time.
So moving on to consent agenda, we have a rather lengthy consent agenda, which we added some kinds of detailed kinds of things into the consent agenda in order to conserve time today. And so we have approval of minutes for March and April. We have notification of approval of warrants for March and April. We have budget status reports for March and April. That's the more detailed status report. We have approval of personnel actions. We have approval of the 2024-25 instructional calendar. There was a minor change in the calendar due to, I think it had to do with, I forget. What was the?
There were some date changes. I think one was the actual state contest that was creating a conflict.
That's correct.
Was one, and and the snow day, and so by flipping that, it created some more space and I think more coherence for our community to kind of see a consistency in that week rather than having Monday off, Wednesday short day, Friday off, which does cause some issues when people look at that from the community. We'd like to thank YEA. We did run that by YEA to take a look at that and see if they saw any issues that we had missed the first time around. And there was some support for that. I'm seeing a head nod from John. So, yeah.
Thanks for clarifying. I missed that one when I reviewed these. Thanks so much. We also have approval for international travel for students in Kirsten Fitter for the Yamate program. We have approval of policy 1000.2.1, and that was a survey monkey that we completed. And second opportunity for comments from the public will come up after we approve the consent agenda. So do I hear a motion? Is there any board member who would like to pull an item from consent agenda for further consideration?
I move approval of the consent agenda as submitted.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda. Barb, would you call the roll, please?
Director Beckett, Director Rice, Vice President Villanueva, President Walker.
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0.
Thank you. We have now arrived at our second opportunity for comments from the public on any item. Do we have some people to comment today? Oh, so we have no comments today. Is there a need for executive session?
Not this week.
Not at this time. Okay, well, we've actually arrived at the end of our meeting then. So Any other comments? Anything good of the order?
I have a question. Have we heard anything about the HAP Awards?
Yes, so I was able to attend HAP, which was Friday. Thank you. Today's today. So we had the HAP celebration on Friday. It was. Now, I had left Yakima as a teacher. My last experience was when it was at the convention center, and then coming back, of course, during the pandemic, it has been very small. We did hold this at YB Tech, very well attended. I do believe it's going to outgrow the facility by next year. So it was a tremendously well done. I couldn't believe how it really turned out, given last year and the size of it. But it's gaining momentum. We did have, as a community speaker, Cy Ruiz spoke, and he's now at OIC, working there as a director. He'd been to the city, and of course, as many of you know, Cy. The other speaker was Senator Torres, so she gave a great message, and we kept her on stage to shake hands and take photos. We did have recognition from all of the four Heritage, University, Central University, WSU, and UW all had people to represent their universities and to recognize students with scholarships. We did also have one student, I was not aware of this, but we did have one student that I know of that was there that was matriculating into Harvard. So that was nice to see. And then some of the scholarships are actually renewable, one to the tune, or a couple to the tune of about $40,000 over the course of the career of the student. So wonderful to see the program. Great food. It was hosted, sponsored by Fiesta Foods, and we had their manager, and I believe their owner was there as well. So very well attended. If I were betting, I would say that they are on pace for finding a larger facility, maybe YBC Conference Center next year, and then blue sky's the limit. So they are already talking about expanding it beyond the Yakima School District and including the entire Upper and Lower Valley. So exciting things are happening with HAP.
Thanks. I'm sorry we didn't hear about that.
I apologize for not putting that in my superintendent update. I was trying to keep it concise. I could talk for hours, you know me.
Thanks so much. Anything else for the good of the order? For those of you in the audience or the TV audience, we use too many acronyms. HAP stands for the Hispanic Academic Achievement Program. So I'm glad to hear it's growing. Okay, with that said, this meeting is adjourned. Those of you that are joining us at Honors Convocation, we look forward to honoring our students tonight. Thank you.